I haven't tasted a W in a long time. The city of Detroit haven't tasted a W in quite some time. So let me just say, from the bottom of our hearts, Arizona, thank you. We needed this. There is much to break down in this game. So much of this game is mental. We talked about that like 2 weeks ago after losing to the Bears. The mental headscape of, oh my God, all we do is lose. We needed this in order to get our guys' minds back on track and be like, oh yeah, we're a professional team. We can do this. So thank God this is great, especially after tying Arizona last year. It's super great with our first win in 11 games, breaking that losing streak. There is much to cover in this game. Obviously, in our pregame analysis, we talked a ton about Kyler Murray's legs. We talked about Kenny Golladay's return and the cornerback situation for the Detroit Lions. So we are going to break it all down in this episode. But before we do, I just want to give a huge shout out to the King Necro. He is a Cardinals fan. Him and I had a lot of conversation on the pregame analysis. Great conversation. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of your comments regarding the Detroit Lions and whatever team we're playing that week. So first and foremost, let's start out with the Detroit Lions. Let's talk about our team. Let's talk about Jeff Okudah. You could tell that it was Okudah's second game in the season. First game against Green Bay, he struggled. It was pretty bad. It was very sloppy, but he was thrown into the fire. You look at him this week, and a great example of him still struggling is the first quarter with like 3 minutes left. Ball gets thrown on the sideline to Isabella, and Okudah was nowhere to be found. It was on his side. He just ran towards the center of the field and then was like, shucks. Probably should have covered that. So like you see those simple mistakes of a rookie. Second game, again, thrown into the fire. From there, you also see Okudah's huge plays. You look at his interception. Okudah makes a beautiful interception in the third quarter, and it actually looked a ton like his interception for Ohio, where he comes up in the last seconds right across the middle, cuts in right in front of the receiver, snags the ball, interception. It was beautiful. So you could see he's starting to step up in the areas that we need him to on the defensive side of the ball. Now let's talk about Stafford. Matt Stafford has yet to break 300 yards this season. He's been struggling. Now granted, games 1 and 2, he didn't have Kenny Golladay out there. This week he did have Golladay, but he only ended up with 270 yards total. He had some missed throws in this game. Great examples are in the third quarter. He threw 2 in the exact same spot in the end zone, high back-to-back plays. First to Jesse James, second to Danny Amendola. Literally like the same spot, sailed them high. First one to Jesse James should have been a touchdown. The second one, Amendola smaller, boy can jump, but still poor placement. And granted, Amendola did have a defender right on him, so I understand it. 2 missed throws, and you kind of see that in Stafford in this game. A lot of high balls, a lot of weird. He's just been struggling, I think, to get back on the horse this year. You look at it, it's not a poor game by any means, but when you look at his stats, he had 270 yards. He went 22 for 31. He threw for 2 TDs and 0 interceptions. So not poor by any means, just not good enough. There were 4 times we had to call Prater in to bail us out. 3 of the times getting down to the end zone and then just being like, screw it, we can't make it, can't convert. Prater gets in there, gets us 3 points on the board. And then the 4th time being in the last 2 minutes, obviously it's what won us the game. And that was great game management by Stafford and by the Lions overall. This idea of, hey man, there's a minute and a half left. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, they could still come back and win this. Let's just run that clock down and let Prater kick the field goal for the W. So great game management. However, just we haven't converted where we need to. Now let's look at Kenny Golladay's return. Galladay's return was pretty much what I think we all anticipated. His stats were fairly comparable to last year's game against Arizona. 6 for 7 receptions to attempts with 57 yards, and both games, 1 TD. So for him, I think the biggest thing was keeping Arizona's secondary honest. He kept them honest because when Golladay is out there, it is a huge threat to the opposing team, knowing that Stafford can take that ball deep to Golladay. You look at the first two games, we didn't have that deep threat. And opening up the short game between Hockenson, Amendola, and Jesse James, we did a lot of tight end work this week. Now let's talk about Murray. Murray's incredible. And the Cardinals are a good team, obviously. They were 2-0 coming into this game. Now, in the pregame analysis, the number one thing I said is we got to shut down Murray's legs. We didn't even have to do that because the play calling of the Arizona Cardinals seemed to shut down Murray's legs on their own. Very bizarre. He didn't run. He only had 5 attempts for 29 yards. And I'm telling you, if they had used his legs, it would have kept our defense honest, and I really think they could have beat us. I really think they would have beat us if they used his legs. But rather, they went to his arm, which he struggled last week. And you look at him this week, he threw 3 interceptions, almost a fourth, that our guy just dropped. Yes, Kyler Murray had some beautiful dimes. He threw that one in the end zone in the end of the first quarter. That was gorgeous. Just like Aaron Rodgers gorgeous, dipped it in to the back right corner. It was great. And I'm not disrespecting him. But what I am saying is, if they wanted to beat us, they should have used his legs more. Look at his one TD where he just danced around Okuda. I was like, man, what is this, prom night? But like prom night at a Christian school? Keep those 6 feet away? So I am not disrespecting Kyler Murray. What I'm saying is they should have used his legs. I think that would have led the Cardinals to the W. Obviously, Isabella went 4 for 4. You have DeAndre Hopkins, who went 10 for 12 with like 100 some odd yards, 137. It's just in the end, Murray's legs could have been utilized a whole lot more. All in all, the game was great. It was a great game. Arizona did a lot to hurt themselves. Obviously, the 3 picks were huge. And I mean, Detroit, we had more opportunities. We had 3 turnovers, and what did we show for it? A punt, a field goal, and a touchdown? Should have been more. I think both of our teams kind of struggled, but we played at a very equal level. Golladay had a good day back. Wasn't spectacular, but was enough. Matt Stafford had some great plays, had some rough ones. We needed the W, just for our players' sake, to get that mental monkey off their back and to be like, you know what? We're professional athletes. We're the Detroit Lions, and we can win. Next week, we're playing home against the New Orleans Saints, and they're struggling. They're struggling. Got to use the momentum that we have now at home to take that W. Later this week, we'll break down the upcoming game against the New Orleans Saints. But for now, drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me, how do you feel about that first W? Feeling good? Should be. Thank you for hanging out, for subscribing for all your Detroit Lions news, for liking and for commenting. Let me know how you felt about the W. And I'll see you midweek for a New Orleans pregame analysis. Go Lions!